very interested in the arts. And, we worked really hard to make sure that our wedding had that feel to it, that kind of handcrafted and really artistic feel. And it starts right with our invitations, that both of us have a shared tattoo artist that we work with, and he does a lot of other art for us. He's a really amazing guy. And so we had him design these invitations custom, which we thought were amazing and beautiful. But then in Sherry's hands, when we got them back, we would have never even thought to do something like this. And she took the time and effort and energy to put these beautiful beads and kind of highlight the flowers.
When else do you see your wedding invitations? You send them out and that's usually the last you see of them. So to have them kind of displayed at the front of the book has been really amazing.
Just the really creative kind of artistic touches on something that we already thought was so perfect and artistic. And then you see that and you're like, wow, I would have never in a million years thought to do that.
Yeah.
And, again, just taking the time, the theme kind of on each page or each pages, on each grouping.
And then like the little photographs. You would never print out the sweet little note he gave me on the wedding day. You would never, why would you print that and hang it on your wall? But to see it again like this and the little champagne bottle you sent me, you forget about those moments and then how you felt. I love champagne. That's why I was so happy.
And, I think just you can tell the eye and the attention to detail of just the color palettes for each section and the way things kind of flow together, and the repetition of certain shapes is just really incredible.
Completely.
A lot of like the ribbon even matches the bridesmaids' dresses.
Yeah. And the flowers.
All
my girls.
Yeah.
So many bridesmaids. There's just so much emotion in this because if you send your pictures off to Apple or iPhoto or wherever you go to get your pictures done, they don't know that these pictures correspond with these pictures or vice versa. And just to capture the emotion of these moments that Sherry knows so well, it's huge, and I think it's priceless.
And I think, too, a lot of the specialness of the Memvio product is just like the dimension of the product. There is a ton of dimension on each page. There are hand cut out pieces.
The brick. It's crazy.
There are layered components, and I think that really adds a really neat artistic feel to it.
You lose that. This is an old art, I think, and with those digital books, they're so easy to make, and they can be.
It's a mass-produced product.
It's a mass-produced, but this book, you're making it. The ease is exactly the same. You're uploading photos, but what you get back is a completely superior product.
The feel of, having a piece of lace or something, an actual piece of lace in the book with the wedding dress is pretty incredible.
It's pretty wonderful. And it brings back all of these memories for sure. How cold it was, the ice.
Yeah, it was a little chilly.
It was negative 2 degrees. Whoops.
And we had some outdoor areas involved in our wedding.
We did.
But then there's pops of color.
Yeah.
And again, just the different textures, the overlay where you actually, you see a picture and the matting overlay another photo. Again, it just gives it that really warm, wonderful dimension that you don't get from a flat printed page.
And the time that she must have taken. Do you glue each? I don't even know, but it's just.
We don't even know how she does this.
I don't even know.
And again, the cutouts, the individuality of the cutouts.
Yeah, the die cuts.
The die cuts, that's right. It's high tech.
This is my favorite page. We did this in an old barn with a brick wall behind us and some industrial lights, but she kind of did it looking like a cathedral because it was spiritual to us, I think. It was very individual and such a personal ceremony, but the fact that she almost made it look like a church or a cathedral of sorts was really neat.
And I think, for a couple that
That's
enjoys looking at artistic things, but that might not be their special talent, is picking those things out. It's really hard. A lot of the online products where you kind of have to design it yourself or pick the templates and drag photos in. It takes a lot of time, and you might not have that eye. And I think that this page is a really great example of that, of, I don't think there's many people that are going to take one image and cut it into that many planes.
Yeah.
But when you see it done, it's absolutely stunning. And it adds so much to the image and how it highlights each person.
Yeah.
Just truly incredible, and something I don't think that any of us would have thought about.
No.
And we do artistic stuff a lot. Nonetheless, maybe somebody who that's not their specialty.
Yeah.
But she brings that eye to it.
Yeah, there's everybody. We had a huge wedding party.
And just knowing, too, that there's not this rotating 3 or 4 page kind of template. Like, Sherry
Yeah,
knew
no
the colors.
page is the same.
No pages are the same, and she knew the colors we had in our wedding. She knew kind of Emily's style, and she was able to replicate a lot of that with repeating patterns and just the colors and the pops of gold that she used. Just kind of knowing us and talking with us before she did this, she really kind of brought that through in the product.
And I feel like if you're going to spend the money to have a photographer at your wedding, you should spend the money to have an album, because otherwise you're having a photographer just for the flash at the wedding, and you 2 pictures on the wall. But if you're getting all of your pictures back from your photographer, it would be a waste not to have something like this afterwards.
It's nice to be able to show them off in a really amazing way.
This is the page she did for your dad.
Yeah, and at the wedding, my dad obviously was a big part of the ceremony, my dad and mom. But then as time went on, just kind of right after the wedding and the little time afterwards, he ended up getting sick and had cancer and kind of passed away pretty quickly. And Sherry was able to kind of put together this really just amazing kind of tribute to my dad from the wedding, and included some just really amazing quotes and text. And just
a tasteful tribute, nothing crazy, but just a sweet, tasteful
special touch, and I think that's a lot of what Memvio does. It just kind of has that special, unique touch.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then my dad drinking from the bottle of champagne.
Or, to have an actual cutout bottle of champagne
with our initial.
With our last name on it. Just again, it's that anytime anyone sees this, they're just like, wow. I mean, that's not something you're going to find anywhere else. And then you forget
they were at a wedding. I don't remember Cora, she was quiet, and Grammy Teeny's no longer with us. It's just these things that, God, life goes by so fast.
The donuts.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love donuts? And then Sherry added donuts. And
more donuts to the donut page. Yeah. Father-daughter dance. Yeah. Our first dances. I mean, every single moment of our wedding is captured on a page in this album.
So I have fond memories of being young, and even through my teen years and into college, of looking at old photo albums that my mom and dad had of their family. And I think the specialness of that, the nostalgia of that, again, as this day and age gets more and more digital, being able to sit down and touch something and feel it and smell it is really, really special, and the specialness that comes with that. And so I have really fond memories of doing that. And then when you meet people, like when Emily and I first started dating, I went over to her house, and we didn't gather around a computer to flip through digital images. We sat around on the couch with her parents and looked through photo albums and shared stories. And I think...
And I envy that generation for being... My mom was so good at scrapbook. I mean, nothing like this, but scrapbooking, you put pictures in an album. And I still look at my baby book. As long as I'm in the picture, I'm interested, is basically how my life is going.
And I think we have hopes for our son Sam.
Yeah, and Sammy, I can't wait for him to look back at his baby book and see all those cool adventures we took him on. And he wasn't neglected.
Even our wedding.
See, we did care about you.
He wasn't there, and so we'll be able to sit down with him with this book, and he'll get to kind of get a really good feel for what our wedding was like, and the ceremony, and the snowflakes.
Yeah. Totally.
So I think just being able to carry on that tradition of, again, it brings people together. It's sitting around, it's a gathering, it's touching, it's feeling, and there's a slower pace to it too that allows for storytelling. Right? Again, it's not some sort of digital slideshow that's clicking through, or maybe there's some cheesy music playing in the background. It's a time to kind of sit next to somebody, touch it, flip the pages, reminisce, and tell those stories. I think it brings a really warmth to the memories.
It's like hearing a song you haven't heard for 10 years and feeling right back in the moment you were in when the song came on the radio. Yeah, we love them.
When you talk about the individuality and the uniqueness of these scrapbooks and these amazing memories, just adding those little pieces of flair that are so incredible you look at this page right here. This was at the very end of our wedding as Emily and I were walking out, and we had everybody hold up sparklers and kind of create this tunnel.
Ready? Wait for it.
Sherry had the idea to cut small holes where all the sparklers were and put beautiful little LED lights.
And it doesn't take away from your pictures, because you turn the page, you look at the picture, it enhances your pictures. A lot of times these scrapbooks, look over here at all these sparkly things. Like, this is your picture. They're just completely, she highlights every single one of your pictures and draws your eye in.
Just another, super artistic, just wonderful touch that you're not going to get from a mass-produced product.
Completely one of a kind. So I actually meet with a ton of brides who are looking to get married, and they're hiring me to take their photographs. And if they ask, well, do you do albums? I don't do albums. I like Jason said, I don't really have the eye to paste, and it's so time consuming, and editing in itself is time consuming. But I tell my friends, and I tell these brides that I meet with, that if you aren't getting an album, you might as well not have a photographer, because your mom or your best friend can take a couple snapshots, and those could be the ones you frame on your wall. But if you really, really, really want a photographer so that you can look back at the pictures and feel that moment again and again, you absolutely have to have an album. And not just any album, but an album that is so emotional and unique and personal to you. Why buy an album if it's just going to be a bunch of pictures thrown on a page?
As unique as your wedding.
Yeah.
I think we worked really hard to make it so that our wedding was unique. And was us. And I think that's what we wanted from our photo album.
Yeah,
we wanted it to be as unique as we were.
It would have been disappointing to get a book back that was just plain and simple and generic, with all of our pictures that were so unique and wonderful.
And I think going into it, there's a couple things on the other side now of the wedding that you don't really think about when you're doing the wedding. Obviously, you think about the food and you think about the venue. Mm-hmm. But there were two decisions that we made beforehand that I am so thankful now that we made those decisions. And one of those was having a videographer, which I think was amazing, because we go back all the time and watch the video from our wedding. And the second is our Memvio album, because really those are the two things after our wedding that we regularly go back to and look through and spend time with that help us reminisce and relive all these amazing moments. And I would have never thought on the front end, weddings are so expensive, there's so many things you have to worry about, that both of those things we kind of kept pushing away, like we don't need to do that, we don't need to do that. But on the back end, I don't really remember the food very much, and the venue was
I'll
great.
Show it to
but
you.
Hey, there you go. We got some good pictures you can show me. But really the two products that you don't think about spending money on, that now afterwards that we use the most,
that last.
They're the ones that last, are our Memvio album and our wedding video. And I'm so glad that we did it.
Yep.